Okay. That's strange. Interesting birds outside. So I'm in Texas visiting with um, Elisa Medhus of Channeling Eric, and um, it's always interesting and spiritually uplifting when you can actually communicate back and forth with you know with the eternal quantum consciousness of our loved ones, of whether you call angelic beings spirit guardians, which I do. I call them guardians, which is a very heavy, brilliant presence for me, and it's also a job that I realize that we all do, and that we've all done, and it's just an incredible thing to communicate with. And um, um, Alyssa's son, took his own life many years ago, but has since really become um, a deeply energetic, deeply beautiful, growing spiritual force of nature within um, those of the Channeling Eric community, those of the deeply spiritual community, those of us who've been inside those kind of communities for a long time. We met because of one book from Neil Donald Walsh, which was The Little Soul in the Sun, and we met across that gulf in separate moments. It was really very strange. But in this, we're going to essentially talk to Eric. He likes to play with the orb, play with appearing as orbs and colored orbs and those things. And although, I'm really just someone coming in to see this, and perhaps I won't see the colors as much, there does seem to be almost a hue about some of what I'm experiencing, and I wanted to thank Eric for certainly helping that appearance. There's always one's buddies in the other world, and one shows up to talk, and we'd be fooling ourselves if we didn't say we believed and understood this sort of thing. We do. We understand it in a way that's deeper sometimes than what we're sometimes able to talk about. Knowing the nature of something has to do with having the experience with that something, with that being, with that energy. So that has to do with knowing the nature of something that has long since been researched, long since been reviewed. Images of orbs taken to photographic experts in the field who can know what an orb is and know what dust is and know what dog dander is, that kind of thing. So it's really brilliant when you get confirmation. It's a beautiful thing, and it's a brilliant thing, and it's really what I want to show. Well, so hey everybody. Now I know that you can actually hear me. um, I realized that I did that test spot so well in my show, that I did that test spot so well because I was testing my microphone, testing my camera on this remote, on testing my remote system here, which is what I'm using and what I'll be using from time to time when I'm on the road, and to transmit, and that I realized that I pulled that talk deep from within, because it's not the easiest things to talk about when we're dealing with um, issues of suicide and recovery and these kind of things, recovery for family, recovery for friends, these kind of things. But when recovery involves spiritual purpose and spiritual living, and I don't mean this in a religious sense. Please understand, if you already know my show and already know my content, to understand what I'm talking about. When it's really understood from the point of view of the things that are happening. Hold on a second, everyone. When it's understood from the point of view of the things that are happening in life, and trying to make sense of life, and trying to help others make sense of life, help others be in that space. That's another thing that's so wonderful about channeling Eric, and is trying to bring solace to people who need that help, solace to anyone who needs the help, whether it's suicide, whether it's depression, whether it's other issues in life, helping bring solace when you lose something in your own life that you feel you've been hit with. So, and to know that there's always a way through, around, and within. I know those words will make sense to those who hear it, and for those it doesn't, it's okay. You can go around that for now and come back to it when it does make sense to you. Come back to it when you know it might make some sense to you. And sorry about the sound there. For a second, I kind of was messing with my start screen there. So I'm just going to be showing some short audio. Oh, the puppies are yelling. Anyway, some short video. I leave today from Texas to head back to Vermont. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a little bit of what we did with the orbs. And I'm going to dub out my mic real quick so that you all will hear the show and not the puppies. But I want to thank Elisa Medhus and her family for having me over here. This was somewhat unplanned. If you saw it from just three-dimensional space, it felt really unplanned. It was amazing how all of this came together and how we came together. I'd been following her site for years and had used one of her books in my graduate work and my MFA work for Goddard. So it's really amazing that we did come together in the way we did through Neil Donald Walsh's book, A Little Soul in the Sun, and my reaction to it at a really low point of depression for me a couple of months back, 2 or 3 months back. And then I heard her show and she mentioned that book of all things, and I just went nuts and emailed her, and this happened. So again, it wasn't anything that was planned out of the ether. I was gonna intentionally make it to where I can come over. It never even occurred to me that we'd ever meet in this sense. Maybe at a show or something, but I've never even been to a Channeling Eric function. So again, really good people. You'd be amazed at people that think differently of you in so many different other ways. Guess what? You realize, and I've realized this throughout my entire development of spiritual development life, is that people who in three-dimensional space see a lot of other things very differently also tend to see a lot of things on the deeper, more spiritual sense very much alike. And that is where you find your common ground. You find your commonality. You find your common space. Because that's where you're supposed to find your common space. Because all that other stuff on the surface of three-dimensional space, all the drama, all the beliefs and all the politics, that really doesn't matter. None of that really matters. Those are just dramatic mechanisms to get where we're going on a spiritual level, which is an eternal space. So, and a story that never ends, a drama that never ends. And this is where we are. So again, it's so brilliant to know so many people where in my life who helped me build on this spiritual program that I'm doing, that we're all doing, that help me build on it, that still come from backgrounds that are very much opposite of my own in so many different ways. Very much so. But yet somehow we coalesce on that spiritual level that we can have in three-dimensional space, that's non-religious. And we then see eye to eye on so many brilliant things. So much so that very little disruption can be caused by all the outside drama for upwards of a few seconds, maybe. And then it goes away because none of it matters when you realize why you're really here and what you're doing and what you're doing together. So it's so brilliant. And I want to thank Elisa Medhus and all the people in my life. The person who helped me produce my show starting in February. I want to thank her. I won't name her because they don't want me to, and until it's time. And then other people who've helped me develop this, from the museum at Norwich University to Sullivan to other places too, who really helped me keep adding things to my show and keep putting things on our YouTube channel and things, and keep things going. So We're going to do this thing with Eric. We're going to see what Eric gives us for the orbs and take it or leave. But I found it brilliant and rewarding. And I hope you all are able to find it rewarding as well. Let's listen in.
No. Some of them go slowly. You with all your buddies? Are you seeing anything through yours?
It's not showing me anything right now.
Really? Did you have a light?
I do.
Okay. Which light on maybe have? Because I see tons.
I might have to turn my light on.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, you probably have to. Eric, can you show me a different color of you? Oh wow. Okay. Nice. Can you go a little slower? Show me a different color. Okay, I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to try something else.
Okay.
Hang on, like that.
All right, Eric. I'm going to put this here.
You getting anything?
Getting some rather large looking ones.
I don't see anything in the other room.
The other
None.
room. What's the other one?
Oh, it's just the other guest room.
Oh yeah, I'm getting a ton of them now.
But I don't see anything. I did the same settings, nothing in the other room. So this is real stuff.
Yeah, I'm getting them.
Whoa. Eric, show us some other pretty color. I know these you're all your friends. The other friends don't have to, but show something. Wow, that one went very fast. Oh my God, there's so many. I saw a pink one. Oh, it's pretty. Beautiful.
Getting a lot of shifting on the screen. A lot of it keeps trying to the orb that keeps flying in front of it.
Cool. Let's see.
Oh goodness, it's everywhere now. How did you turn your gears off?
Oh really? Oh okay.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Oh, wow. I've got my night vision on the camera here, so.
Okay. I'm going to put that off here. Okay, I want to see if I can find your angelic being.
Appreciate you. Okay, so what I'm going to switch over real quick so you all can have a look at me. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the second video. Now that was from my camcorder, my stand-up camcorder, which I didn't bring the DSLR on this trip. That'll likely go with me to London, since I'll be there for so long. But and I was doing that in order to use more than one camera, because all we were doing here was for the images, not for the sound. So it did need to be quiet in the rest of the house or anything. So you heard background sounds and stuff. But that was for me to get a different angle. Now I'm going to show you what the angle that I was using, what the angle was that I was using from my other cam, from my other from the other image. So let me roll up on that real quick and show that. And if you all hear thunder or lightning in the background, yeah, that mostly has to do with what's going on outside, weather. So that's the weather going on. So sorry about that background noise. I had to dub out the desktop audio real quick for you all. So while I did this, and so we're gonna see this from my phone audio now. My phone, which you see the extreme fast moving things. Not well, I should say the extreme fast moving and weak stuff. So you can tell where the dust is, but also you can see where orbs are, because the orbs change their position in the middle and just turn and run back the other way, or they lead in with some color. And on my phone, it's just not as easy to see the color, but it's there, especially when the orbs give off their own light, when they're brighter than the light shining at them or something. But it's not, and they leave tails, massive tails behind them, which is pretty incredible. Not all of them do, but many of them do, and especially when they like to show up and right up at your camera and then roll off another direction. It's really interesting. So we're not talking about any appearance of fast-moving dust. Dust is real hard to show up on cam, but orbs show up very well on cam. So it's really interesting. So let's give a look. All right, so what I am going to do real quick here is I'm going to actually bring the sound back so you all can actually hear this. We've only passed about 16 seconds in. So so we're going to, let me roll in here real quick and give you some audio real quick on this. That I'm acknowledging. I always try to acknowledge when I've accidentally forgot to turn my audio back on for the desktop. So hold on a second while I get that done for you. And I'm just going to pause for a second, because right there, barely inside the first second, off to the right, is an orb in the room. So really super interesting. I'm going to bring down my image off the screen again so that we can enjoy the entire scene, because again, this is actually about what we're seeing on screen. Often, as I've said in the past now, that a lot of the work I do is often about the audio and listening, but in this case we weren't trying to, because there's a lot of other extra sounds, and often the more incredibly and beautiful way to come across quite often is not by trying to transmit audio through the dimensional barrier, and trying to use the white noise, galactic background white noise, for it to be heard. That's a lot of quantum stuff going on there, but it's much easier to appear as an orb, as this beautiful orb, not as a form, not necessarily looking human, not necessarily looking the way we have to hold on to on this realm, but looking the way one might be able to interpret us from the other side, just as energy, a beautiful orb-like energy, which is what we are if you're going to be able to see us. So it's interesting. It's hard to explain again. And I said before, words just can't really do justice. So let's watch this. Again, this isn't going to be a very long show today because I'm going to be flying out. But and I'm already prepped, but yeah, there's just a lot going on. And so I want to be able to give you all a show still, because this was the purpose of me also having my remote studio with me, was to be able to see if this works. And I know that the shows are going to be much shorter clips, but again, since there's going to be more transmission through YouTube ultimately, then those short clips work. But anyway, let's watch it again. So I'm going to bring my image down and let you all see the orbs. Again, let me do that one more time. Let me start it one more time.
Look, I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to try something else.
Okay.
Yeah, like that.
Where do I go? I'm going to put this here. I decided to freeze it right there because there's an orb sitting right in the middle of the image. So that's, and there seems to be something also. Well, there's more going on in the image. So let's just say that. Well, that was a lot of them there.
You getting anything?
Getting some rather large looking ones.
I don't see anything in the other room.
The other room.
None.
What's the other room?
Oh, it's just the other guest room.
Oh yeah, I'm getting a ton of them now.
But I don't see anything. I did the same settings, nothing in the other room. So this is real stuff.
Yeah, I'm getting them.
Whoa. Eric, show us some other pretty color. I know these, you're all your friends. The other friends don't have to, but show something.
Okay, so let me pause for a moment. Oh, and oh gosh, and turn up. Now you guys can hear that. Well, let me pause for a moment and turn this up. So, we were doing some experiments. Alyssa and I were doing. She was doing an experiment, running a recording in the back room, and I was running two recordings. One with the more static, the static camcorder, night cam, and using my phone as well, which is what you're looking at now is my phone, because we started with the static night cam, and the static night cam can't really only see so much. When there's a little bit of light in the room, it can gather so much light in the room, and other times you have to move the static cam for it to see ahead of its scan. It's infrared scan. So in order to see the room, and I do that towards the end, but by that point we've gotten all the orbs we were going to get. But we were doing some experiments off and on. We were just, you don't just accept it from one thing, and if you're getting the same thing in the other room, then maybe it's something else. But we weren't getting any orbs in the back room. So, but just really in this room, it was just, and I don't mean like dusty. I mean orbs, things, really thick orbs flying around, leaving, and in other words, a show from the friends, and not in any sense of a carnival show, but because they want to appear and the people doing it are genuine, and the intent of the people asking is genuine. You know, not like some TV show where their intent is really not genuine. They want something negative. They want to be scared. There was nothing like that here. Nobody is trying to be scared, and it's not over dramatic. And I think I've stated this on the show before, but that was what we were doing, was we were running back and forth between the two rooms, and it was Alyssa's idea to do that, and it was a really good idea to do that. Again, that's that whole investigation operational sense that you get of laying out different kinds of options and seeing if you can get the same thing in other places. If not, then maybe it's more in this place, not in another, or it's just not what we think it is, or it is what we think it is. And all because, again, so much of this has already been researched in this in the home here, and so much of and taken to a person who can unlayer a piece of photography and tell if something's dust or what have you. And when an independent light source appears in an image, and that light source is actually lighting up something else next to it or near it, it's pretty amazing. And I don't know if it happens here, but I can tell you what, a really super bright one does appear here. And if I can back that up and show it to you all, or get it to back up, that would be great if I can get it to work. So let me pop down my screen again, and I'll continue with this. Whew. If you all are wondering why it's taking a little longer when I'm trying to do that sort of thing, it's because I don't have a mouse. Well, let's just say that I need more of a Bluetooth mouse in order to make this work. But yeah, I make it work. Even with touchpad, I make it work. And here we go.
God, there's so many. I saw a pink one. Oh, it's pretty. Beautiful.
I'm getting a lot of shifting on the screen. A lot of it keeps trying to, the orb that keeps flying in front of it.
Cool.
Oh goodness, it's everywhere now. Now that you turned your gears off.
Oh really? Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Wow. I've got my night vision on the camera here, so it.
Okay. I'm going to put that off. Good. Yeah, I want to see if I can find your angelic being.
Oops.
And to the settings.
Can we do it in a way that has the dog outside the door?
Yeah.
With the door closed so they're not in?
Okay, hang on.
Right. I appreciate you letting me do this, Eric. Thank you. Thank you. Entering this private space. Okay, now I just paused it real quick for you all because if you notice, even though I'm not saying anything on camera, there's a lot of, there's a lot of orb activity, and what I needed to capture more of that, and, more of that without any other without any other. There's no AC on in the room, so, and the windows are closed, and there's no fan running. So, and the only other option that I wanted to get as far as orbs go, that I wanted to get out of the room, or get any other dust out of the way. So I wanted the dog out of the room too. The dog, nothing really goes in this room. This room stays closed. So, and that way, when the much brighter orbs, the couple of ones that did show up at the start come in, when they do show, I want them to show independent of anything else in the room. So, other than the two human beings that are in the room. So, but there seems to be so much more, and they're coming right at the camera. And I'm not talking about the things that scroll across really fast and that look weak like dust. I'm talking about these orbs that make movements in front of the camera and turn directions and head off and sometimes come back. Those kind of things. That's something that you look for. Everything else, almost like a people in a crowded room. When you are looking for only one or two people in a crowded room, then you know what you're looking for, and you know how to look for it. So you go and you find that other person in the crowded room. Sorry, I turned myself up a little bit so you might be able to hear me, because my microphone's well way over here because I don't have a traveling arm, and I probably won't get one of those. But if you're looking for someone in a crowded room, you know how to wave out everything else you're not looking for, knock out, and you know how to look for the two things in the crowded room. It's like hearing a particular sound in a crowded space that a deaf person would know how to look for. I don't know that. I have not been deaf, but it feels as if it might work the same way. They wouldn't know what to look for, what to sound for, listen for, because they know what it is they're hearing. They're aware of that particular voice, that is a group, that particular frequency, that particular step, that particular crack, pop. No, they hear it. They know what it is. They're able to completely do that. So that's really, why I'm not talking much here, and why I'm popping my camera down, because again, I'm trying to get more imagery. And again, when I put this over on, I'll drop this in over on YouTube, and hopefully it will. I'm hoping that it runs better and isn't dropping too many frames for you guys. But let me go ahead and finish with the video. It's not that long now. Okay, let me back that part up right there, because taking another look at, ew, look at that. Now, as these are happening, Alyssa's not in the room with me. She's actually outside, pointing down the hall, and fixing her settings on her phone so she can see it. And interesting that her voice correlates with the things showing up right in front of my screen, and I do see them. I just don't say much because I'm trying to be quiet and listen and feel for what I'm seeing, and not try and make things happen. Each one of us are able to do that, so it's just one of these practices, and it's really interesting. So let me go ahead again with well, for those who might think that this is just freezing and you don't hear me because of sound issues or whatever, but my sound issues are fine. I'm good on this end. But let me go ahead and play this some more. Oh my goodness. Let me go ahead and play this some more. And again, we don't have too much of it left, but I like to talk my way through that. I think you guys know this. Here's another one. There's so many of them. Okay. You got what you need? I'm going to back this up again. Okay. Because there's so many of them appearing on the screen. And again, there's no one else in the room with me now, but there's so many of them appearing on the screen. And like I said, this room is unoccupied, and it would be. And no one really goes in here other than maybe to take images and things like that. But again, to take images, but only after really making a point and asking for, to be able to come through with your buddies and show us and talk to us and sit with us, kind of thing. Not some sort of scary occupied. The place isn't haunted, so it's not that. It's definitely not anything like that. You can always feel presences around you. It does not mean a place is haunted. That's a very different concept than a presence showing up to you and doing whatever, or being kind and loving, or some other kind of presence. But those are very different concepts that over time I'll talk about on the show as well from time to time. But again, it was really interesting watching this and being able to do it. Totally unexpected, as I said, and not something that I set out of my path or out of my way to do, but brilliant and interesting. Let's go ahead and finish this off. I paused it at this point because and backed it up a little bit because, again, these orbs were really coming up. Now, I don't know if I caught at the beginning the ones that were really showing up big time on the screen. I might roll back to the start of that for a moment and show you that again, just in case that was happening. So let's go ahead and pull back a little bit. Oh, there's another one. Oh yeah, the orbs are really heavy here. Okay. You got what you need?
Huh?
You got it?
No, I just doing some stuff. Changing settings.
You got what you need?
Huh?
You got it?
No, I just doing some stuff. Changing settings. Are you telling them to ask them to do things?
No. I was just thanking for letting me do it.
Okay.
And of course, they were all over the place in this, so I kind of didn't have to ask for them to do anything, because they were moving all over the place in this and moving around everywhere in the shop. And there was no one else in the room with me, no dog, no nothing. So, and Alyssa was doing her shot down the hallway and in the other room. So it was really interesting. And I would show that one, but there's no real point in showing that video because there was nothing on it really. And it ended pretty early after I walked in. My phone shut off because I left my night cam in Eric's room and took my phone with me. And the night cam, if you don't pick up that night cam and move it around, that scanner can't pick up any infrared light, or any light and bring it in using the infrared camera. So the infrared sensor. So you have to actually pick it up and walk with it so that sensor can scan right ahead of it, so it can see things. And I did that at the end of that one, but again, I used that, and I use those usually in a static position where I don't have to move them, but I moved that camera a little bit as you saw at the beginning. But let's go ahead and try and finish this down. And saw some orbs, and the door was scratching, and I didn't want them to shake up dust and all sorts of things off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was why I wanted to say.
I gotcha.
Yeah. He's a huge orb that just passed in front of my camera. Mark 6'11". Oh, I wanted to say.
I gotcha.
Yeah. There it is. Oh, I was able to do that. I am so glad I was able to pause that for you all. Truly, just truly brilliant. I'm also going to flash an image of it myself because I definitely 608. Why I wanted to say.
I gotcha.
Yeah. There it is. Okay, guys, I'm going to blank out my mic for a moment, but I want you to all to observe this orb. All I have to say is that's pretty amazing. Okay, and I'm going to also do a screenshot of it, so it'll give me a double shot, and I'll be able to maybe take it and use it later, and we'll look at that later, maybe in another show where I'm recapping what we've done before. And again, that's brilliant. It's rolling past the screen really fast. That was the one I was hoping to show you all before, or show in it, so we'd catch a good one. But yeah, oh yeah, that's there. And let me close my camera out so that I can still get the full screen image, which is why I wanted you all to see this. Oh, he's a huge orb that just passed.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, he's a huge orb that just passed in front of my camera. Mark 611.
Oh, that's a good idea.
He's a huge orb that just passed in front of my camera. Mark 6.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was why I wanted to say.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, he's a huge orb that just passed in front of my camera. Mark 611. Okay, so we're getting towards the end of that, and we're finishing this off. So let me go ahead and
And see that there are no orbs there.
yeah.
Because look, I did this. There's nothing.
All right. And right there, Alyssa was talking about there were no orbs in the back room. Let's back that up again. So she was talking about the back room, not in Eric's room, but the back room.
Do the other room and see that there are no orbs there.
Yeah, so the other room. So let's back that up one more time so that point can be made.
You can also do the other room and see that there are no orbs there.
Yeah.
Because look, I did this. There's nothing.
All right.
That one. I did.
Let me do the other room real quick then.
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah. Okay, so that actually was the end of the video. It jumped back to 47 seconds. But let me close that, bring that down, and come back over to you guys to give you a really quick talk for a moment. Because I really do appreciate you having been here for this. All right, so that's where that went down. That's how we finished off that. I went back, did a video of the other room, and ended up not picking up anything. And again, the video was really super short, and it may actually be in my stuff, but there was nothing going on in the room. So I wanted to close that out there because I knew I couldn't have this to be too long because it was going to be a short show today, but this week and it's just today. This is Monday, so the next show will be Friday. But and again, I didn't want to, and I didn't want to do it last night because I didn't want to wake anyone. I didn't want there to be a chance that I mean, no one can hear sound in my room other than me talking. But again, I wanted to make sure that I put out something for you all that you would get have a moment of enjoyment with, and that might help out. And I realized that it could, I'm hoping that you can see this and you can see it well. And I have no indicator of dropped frames. Nothing has shown me that any frames have dropped. So, but I am hoping you all were able to enjoy this today, to enjoy being here with me. And I want to tell you how much that really works for me. Thank you. There are going to be times where I'm going to be coming from, whether I'm transmitting this out of YouTube live or in Twitch, or end up doing one or the other from time to time. If I do Twitch and YouTube twice at YouTube, then I'll do a slightly different show from what I did in Twitch, but you'll still be able to see the Twitch show without having Twitch by going into the YouTube channel and picking it off. And I'll transfer this down to the YouTube channel, but it probably won't be until late tonight after I get back up to Vermont. So thank you all for being here, and again, I can't thank her any more than I have. I thank Elisa Medhus and her family for having me here, and who knows where this goes from here. And but this is the kind of work that we do, and also, again, as on my channel, it's meant to it's meant to teach. It's meant to show you things. It's meant to explain concepts and explain things. And so there may be as the future goes on, that kind of work and collaboration and comes about on these kind of channels. And I wanted you all to at least enjoy for a moment, a good experience where it's not a haunting, but just like it wasn't in so many of the other things, it was just some really interesting stuff. But a really good spiritual event where they come to us when we need them and talk to them. And I'm not talking about a dancing monkey show. I'm not talking about some sort of carnival act. I'm talking about true back and forth between those of our brethren who are on the other side of this three-dimensional space, but they're in the dimensions, the fifth and however many other dimensions past us, occupying those spaces. And while we choose to slow our energy down and occupy three-dimensional space for the experience, for the point, for the love, for everything that we do for each other and with each other, all the emotions, all the horrible things, all the terrible things that we disagree on, all the anger, all the hate, all of that is part of the drama that we deal with. All of that is part of the drama we live within. All of that, experiencing it and then understanding how to transform that energy and what to do with it is why we're here. And there's always going to be more on that. So I want to thank everyone for being here, and I really appreciate it. Be well and go carefully.